Hey guys, what is going on? This is Rupert Fear bringing you another part to my Godfather 2 playthrough, and this will be part 14 I do believe, but before I get into this video I'd just like to say to leave a like, rating, and remember to subscribe if you want to see more. And so let's hop right in. I'm going to do something a little out of the orthodox today. It is very late here, it is 1:35 in the morning, so, and I just got done watching the Ravens and Broncos game. And so what I kind of wanted to do is go through all of the NFL teams and look at their predictions for this year, what people have predicted them to perform at this year, and I'd like to just offer some input. So let's just get right in. I don't got too long for 32 teams, so this one rates it from the worst, they think, to the best. So first up is the Oakland Raiders, and they predict this team to go 2-14, and frankly I would have to agree. Their offensive line isn't good, and they traded away one of their best receivers, Darius Hayward-Bay. He went to the Indianapolis Colts, and they really always underestimated him, so it's really hard to disagree with that, and I don't think Matt Flynn will be a terribly effective quarterback, even if he did have one good game. I mean, everyone has a good game now and then, so anyways, let's go to the next team. Here we go. Next, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're predicted to go 2-14. I would have to say yeah to that one. They do have some good defense, some really good defense, and that's what really stumped the Texans last year, which is really weird. And they do have Maurice Jones, MJD back, Maurice Jones-Drew, but they need to get a solid quarterback, and that's their problem. I would have snapped up Tebow. He is a much better quarterback than either Blaine Gabbert or Chad Henne, who just don't look like they know what they're doing in the pocket. I mean, I would always start Chad Henne under the snap over Blaine Gabbert, but that's just me. And they say that they're going to be some of the top in their division against the Titans and the Colts, and that may be true, but I think the Colts will definitely beat out the Jaguars. So 2-14, I'll say 2-14 or 3-13. So that's enough about the Jaguars. Even with MJD back, I don't think they'll perform. So next we got the New York Jets. So the Jets this year, they get Geno Smith, and he performed very poorly in the preseason, led up a safety and threw 3 picks in a game, and he is announced as the Week 1 starter. Week 1 starter for the Jets. And the Jets also lost Darrelle Revis in the offseason, so that's a big hit to their man-to-man defense, and Darrelle Revis is excellent at playing man-to-man defense. And their offense is dead, especially since they lost their tight end in the preseason, Dustin Keller. He tore all 3, the MCL, the PCL, and the ACL against the Dolphins. So they're predicted to go 3-13. I'm gonna say yeah, 3-13 sounds good. So let's see what we got next. Cleveland Browns are next, and they are predicted to go 4-12. And I don't really have a problem with this. I don't think Brandon Weeden is the quarterback that they're looking for. I think that Trent Richardson definitely is the halfback that they're looking for. He is an excellent halfback. They do have some really good wide receivers like Gordon Brown, and so while it is possible that they'll do a little better this year, 4-12 I think is a safe estimate to stick them with. Maybe 5-11 if they're lucky, but otherwise their team needs a couple more years before they can do much of anything. So let's move on here. Next we got Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals definitely are going to have a losing season. They lost a ton of their main characters. They lost Adrian Wilson to the Patriots. So, eh. They also lost like Darnell Dockett and people like that. But the Cardinals really are kind of the laughingstock of the NFL right now. They had a great start to the season last season, but it isn't enough. I don't think they'll even do that well in this season. So, I mean, this one's kind of hard. 4-12. I'd give them 12. They just need to fix their quarterback situation. They have Larry Fitzgerald. I don't think Carson Palmer is the answer to their quarterback issues. I think he's burned. I think he's been burned for a while. So, let's get into this next one before I hover too long on the freaking Cardinals. Alright, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Revis went to the Buccaneers, which was the big move. He plays man-to-man. They finished with 10th overall best defense last year. The biggest problem is Josh Freeman, and he had a lot of touchdowns and pretty impressive yards actually. But he was so erratic, like he could do really well one game and completely blow the next. So if they want to win consistent games, then that is definitely part of what they need to focus on. I mean, Freeman has always had good arm, really good distance perception. He doesn't overthrow people a lot. They were predicted at 5-11, and I'll be generous. I'll give them 6-10. Otherwise, unless their defense really steps up and makes a really good season, which they haven't had since their defense back from the early 2000s, which was rated as one of the best ever in football. So I'll say 6-10 for the not Broncos, but the Buccaneers. And forgive me if my math is a little off. I'm not counting at all for the different teams in the different divisions. Lions are next. These guys are rated at 5-11, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went 7-9 or 8-8. Truly, because I mean, they don't have a great defense, but they added a couple people that I think would really help. And they added Reggie Bush, and Reggie Bush does not have job security, okay? And what I mean by that is if Reggie Bush gets hit sometimes, he stays down for a long time. Dolphins have struggled with this. Pretty much everyone who's been drafted who struggled with this. He did really well for the Saints, and then he got hurt, and he went to the Dolphins. Reggie Bush is what he is insanely good at in the NFL, is receiving halfback. Basically, he is a halfback behind the quarterback. And that's what Stafford really needs. Stafford put up the second most passing attempts last year, I think only behind Aaron Rodgers. And I mean, of course, he broke the single-season receiving yard record, just tossing it to Calvin Johnson Jr. every chance he got. And especially with Reggie Bush, I think they'll take a lot of pressure off of Johnson since they'll have to cover closer to the line of scrimmage. So I'd say 5-11 is a little low. I'd give them 7-9. So I think that's one of the ones I do disagree with. Let's move on. Buffalo Bills. Okay, Bills are not going to do as well as everyone thinks they do. They did get EJ Manuel. I'm gonna say 4-12, even though it's predicted at 5-11. CJ Spiller, yes, he's a good running back. We have not seen the competitiveness of his though yet. So if he does break out, I'll give him 7-9, like I gave the like I gave the Lions. But if Spiller doesn't break out, then I'll say Manuel. The problem with Buffalo is they just don't have a good O-line. So especially with a rookie quarterback, you really need a good O-line, and that's what Andrew Luck got. And the fact that Andrew Luck is much more qualified. But even though CJ Spiller is really good, they have a really hard season ahead of them, and I'd say probably 4-12 instead of 5-11. So next we got the Eagles. They have them going 6-10. This is a really hard one because they did lose a lot of players. They lost a few players, and they bring back Vic. And that is the stupidest decision I have ever seen out of any offense. They wanted a fast quarterback. Fine. If you want a fast quarterback, go pick up, fucking what's his face? Sorry, it's like 1:45 right now. I'm really tired. If you want a quarterback, you need to go pick up Tebow. Tebow will play well for the Eagles, especially since he's a left-hander, and it's really hard to change a team's whole offensive scheme because of that. So, yeah. Go pick up Tebow, don't use Vic. Tebow can still run. 6-10, I'd say 5-11. They're just not going to do well. Alright, I got to keep speeding through these. San Diego Chargers, 6-10. Rivers is on his way out of the NFL. Denario Alexander, ACL tear, Denario Alexander, ended his season. I don't think they're going to do that well. I'd say 5-11, 6-10. It's really hard. They have a really good team in theory, and especially since they grabbed Manti Te'o, who is pretty much the next Ray Lewis. But it's hard because Rivers doesn't have the O-line that he needs, and the defense doesn't have those few key pieces that they need. So if they can step it up a little bit, then I think they can do it. Otherwise, I'd say 6-10, 5-11. Another losing season for the Chargers. The next is the St. Louis Rams, predicted at 7-9, and they did draft a lot of good people, and they picked up a lot of good people. Sam Bradford needs to step it up a little bit. They need more wide receivers. They need more targets. And they have a really tough schedule. So, 7-9. I'll give them 7-9. Rams are finally looking up for once in a long time since Marshall Faulk. Pretty much they've always had running backs that led. And they did lose Steven Jackson, but I'm not too worried about that. Steven Jackson is kind of on his way out of the NFL right now as it is. But let's keep burning through these real quick. Don't got too long. Minnesota Vikings, they are predicted to go 7-9. I'd say Minnesota can finish even. Minnesota will finish even. They really need to firm up their, not their receiving core, but their passing. Christian Palmer just isn't performing. He needs to step up a little more. He needs to, he just needs to do it. Otherwise, this is going to be a bad season, an even season for the Vikings, and they're probably going to go look for another quarterback next year. But Peterson, always bet on Peterson, especially with the stagnant offense on the passing game, and with Greg Jennings now. And I always bet on Blair Walsh anyways, their kicker who broke an NFL record last year. So let's keep on. Miami Dolphins are suspected to go 7-9. Yeah, everyone's saying that the Dolphins are going to drop the Patriots. I don't think so. They just don't have it. They just don't. Ryan Tannehill's good, yes. Mike Wallace is good, yes. It's really hard. They lost a couple people. They definitely lost a really good running back. So I don't think I'd say 7-9 is fair, even if everyone else is like, no, they'll do so much better. No, they're not going to. This might be a two-parter actually. This is taking a long time. Got 5 minutes left. All right, let's try to get through another few of these though. Kansas City Chiefs. All right, Kansas City Chiefs are going 7-9. I would say no. I would say the Kansas City Chiefs are probably going about 5-11, even with the addition of Alex Smith in Kansas City. Andy Reid just doesn't have it anymore. He used to be a really good coach, not so much anymore. Kansas City just doesn't have the O-line. They do have the defense, especially in people like Brandon Flowers, who are really good at covering people. And they definitely do have the franchise running back with Jamal Charles, who is an insanely good athlete. I mean, he is top 3 running backs in the NFL. Adrian Peterson, MJD, Jamal Charles. Right there. I'll say it right now. They're the best. I don't care what anyone else says. Those guys are the legit best in the NFL. Charles doesn't have a lot to work with. He has to run the ball a lot, and the defense knows that, and he still gets the yards. He is a franchise running back. 7-9, I'll give him 6-10, 5-11. I don't think they'll do that well. So let's move on. I really hope that they do better than I think, especially since Alex Smith can get it to Dwayne Bowe. So I just pray that I'm wrong, but I don't know. Dallas Cowboys. They're predicted to go 7-9. I would say no. I'd say that I'll predict their team to go 9-7. I'll flip those numbers around. I wouldn't say any higher because just like Tony Romo is the opposite of Eli Manning. Okay, Tony Romo chokes. Eli Manning is basically the next John Elway. John Elway was the comeback king. Eli doesn't think Romo, when he gets into those big moments, he chokes. It is so bad. They have a ton of talented defense. DeMarcus Ware and Anthony Spencer, of course, on the defense, they're so good. DeMarco Murray is a great running back, but I'll give him 9-7. I'm not giving him any more. They need to try to find they need to coach Romo a little better. Next is the Titans, who are rated above the Chris Johnson. Oh no, 8-8 for the Titans. Fuck that. 5-11. Titans are bad. The Chris Johnson, CJ2K. No, he had a shitty game last year. Finally pulled up a little at the end. I'd say CJ2K will hit 1,500 yards maybe, but no, nothing else than that. I'll give them 6-10 at best. They're just not a very good team. All right, let's try to get through a couple more of these before my video ends. Chicago Bears, 8-8. Yep. Lack of Urlacher, but Lovie Smith. Firing Lovie Smith was a really bad move. He was such a great coach to them. They need more receivers for Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler needs to stop being such a bitch about hurting his thumb on his non-throwing game. And I mean, it was just that was an awful season. They could have had the Super Bowl easy. Jay Cutler sat out and they lost, and it was his fault. They lost Urlacher, who was the leader of their defense. They still have a great defense, but I think 8-8. I'll go 9-7, maybe 10-6, but I'm not going any further than that. How much time we got left? Oh, we got 25 seconds left. Alright, I guess I'll do the next 25, the next video, or the next however many. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and remember to leave a like rating if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more. This is kind of unorthodox, but since the season just started, I figure I might as well say my predictions off someone else's because I'm not good at math. Anyways, this is Reaper Fear saying peace out for now.